Okay, so I'm back. I'm gonna have to hold this thing instead of leaving it stationary, um, because it definitely needs to charge. So, oh, there was something just a second ago I knew I'd accidentally left out, and I don't really recall what that was now. Um, I know that it was a very strange, perfect storm that created all of this, to where Summer was even able to go missing. Um, and, um, like I had said any other time, and we would have, I don't know how anybody would have ever pulled this off, and I still, for the life of me, do not. Because even just minutes before she vanished, if anybody had asked me if I thought one of our children could be taken from in there, I would have laughed. And trust me, as a mother and as the mother of the only other girl in that hollow, and the only other, um, I had the only other children in there, um, in the particular road, but the only other one with a daughter. Um, and obviously, like JD had struck me wrong enough to warn him about my own and about all of the neighborhood children and grandchildren and things in the surrounding. But I keep an eye on mine even in town, because, around here it was pretty mild, and now we've got like the big rings coming in and um, stuff this place is not used to, so it's working well here. So they're hitting smaller towns. We've had quite a few things happen in the past couple of years, including at the park that Candace happened to be at that day. There have been quite a few incidents there to where most of us had stopped going or taking our children to there's a playground there that it's beautiful. Um, and it's also set up for special needs children. It's one of the better ones around here, but there have been so many pervs at it and doing crazy things that a lot of us locally and in the surrounding area had stopped going. Um, I mean, I think there were several, you know, news pieces, but I know that there was Facebook posts about it a lot, and pictures of the men they caught. I mean, so either way, and at our local Walmarts, things like that, there have been a lot of incidents the past couple of years picking up something this place in particular not been used to, sort of like the money scams and things, and like the fake legs and all that this place in particular wasn't used to. Bigger city stuff, they are, but it's moving here because obviously easy marks, right? Uh, so either way, pretty vigilant about her, and when you see me look over that way, she's over there. So anyway, and she has her headphones in because I've asked, because this particular topic is it's hard for her, it's hard for all of us, and whew. Anyway, so JD, JD had happened, he'd hit my gut enough to, you know, warrant me saying something about my daughter and that particular spot and other things. But like I said, he's pretty low on my list, and honestly, I kind of owe the guy an apology. I was wondering why it was a little strange that for once out of 26 years I was allowed to be the spokesman for this particular Voldemort pack. And why even Voldemort had stood up and been like, oh, Mom let her speak because she's done her research, this, the other. And the whole time I've been under the impression that the spike in question on the original driveway, that the reason it was where it was, even on the 77 map, was because of the way the watershed works from the very top of the hill where the main house is. And they had changed it and made it look like that spike was in the main road, but that it actually wasn't. Like, say the spike would have been in, like, just general grass area, okay? Saying like 1800 or whatever. But then the watershed from the top of the hill, the way it transferred over the years and trickled down, would have eaten it and then made it become one and look like it was actually in the original roadway. And I'd asked specifically about this. Thought I'd made sure of that. And I was kind of, I don't know, assumptions, right? So when JD got there, I noticed it was a little strange that Suda, and I didn't notice till after all this went down, that it was asked of Suda mother-in-law to kind of step back and let me speak. And I was waiting for her to, so I didn't really honestly say much, because they're pretty particular about things. And so I didn't really say much anyway, and it never really came up with, I did tell JD that was the one thing the family would fight over, and that was the thing. That was the only point, and that's exactly where JD had parked, was the entrance in between those two no trespassing signs to the original and main driveway. Then it was several days into the summer thing, before I was kind of looked at and told, nope, that's where it's always been. That is actually in the road. So, what I told JD wasn't, I don't know, I was manipulated and sort of omitted to, and I guess that way everybody else could say they weren't. And so then I checked it out with other family members, people through the past, who were close to the original property owner prior to, and that was most certainly the case. They said the reason the second driveway was actually built was because in that survey map 77 was touching, they were afraid that would become the right of way, and so they built the second driveway that's used now to ensure that could not happen. So there you go. Me and Jay both were just, and I think a lot of it was, it falls into the, I think a lot of it falls into, what was happening to us for years there. Weren't really allowed to build on or do anything or this and the other. I did manage to eventually get agreement to build on a bathroom. Nobody would let a septic be put in. And I think that the reason it was such an issue about the property for everybody was so contamination and things weren't found, and especially the giant trash pile and that sort of thing, and the well and the creek being so close and whatever, because that would bring trouble. And I think that, for years I've been like, hey, this needs to be taken care of, blah, blah, blah. But it was part of what we had to endure there, and it was part of the control there. And I warned people that would eventually come down the pipeline. didn't matter until. And then I was used and manipulated to, in a way to where everybody could say, so anyway. But I think I owe JD an apology. However, I also think whatever. Anyway, so that was the topic until, obviously, until Summer vanished. I mean, some of the last messages, with I and others, just in those last minutes before and the last hours before were about the property drama and about all these things. Um, and it seems so silly now in comparison that that's what everybody was concerned. Like, however, JD being there the day prior and wondering if he was going to come back and it was going to be super weird, or, cops showing up or whatever, kept me on a hyper alert. I mean, like, super hyper alert. Like, I was anyway, like I said, but after him being there and the weirdness, it kept me on. But somehow I still missed what happened next. Um, and I still can't tell you how. And, I wish every day I could tell you how I missed what happened next. Uh, I wish every day I could just tell me how I missed what happened next. So, anyway, I'm gonna end this one here, and I'll be back.